Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Joshana here, and we're gonna talk about a friggin' book. So the book in question, you already know the title. I don't know why I say, because like for fuck's sake, you can read the title. It's Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay, wherever I'm going to put it, because I do not have it anymore because it was a library book. Spoiler alert, I will be purchasing this book because I loved it. So if you do not know, Jane Steele is essentially a Jane Eyre, like, reimagining, I guess. We have our main character, Jane Steele, and it's set back, in, I don't know, like what, Victorian England? Clearly, I am not a history major. In this world, Jane Eyre is a book that has been out in the world, and our main character, Jane Steele, loves Jane Eyre. It's her favorite book. She rereads it constantly. As you may know, if you have been watching me for a hot minute, I tried reading Jane Eyre a few months back, but I, unbeknownst to myself, got the abridged audiobook, and it was over in like 2.5 hours, and I was like, there's no way. I've seen that book. It's huge. I just had no desire to go back and like try to actually read the full book. So I didn't, and I probably never will. Jane Steele, on the other hand, is awesome. And she is, I haven't read Jane Eyre in its entirety, but it's set up similarly where she is kind of orphaned. She, for a time in her life, is at this boarding school that is just awful, like just terrible, these poor girls at this boarding school. And then she gets away from that and she goes on about her life, trying to survive in the world, basically. All I really knew about this book going into it is that it was a Jane Eyre reimagining and there was murder involved and that she was a killer, that Jane Steele was a killer. On my 1 to 10 scale, I gave this book a 9. That translates to 5 pushinicorns. I'm not gonna go into each category because pretty much across the board it was 8, 9, 10. It was just, I loved it. The writing style in particular in this book is my shit. Like, oh my God, I love it. It reminded me of the Parasol Protectorate series. It's just like witty and clever and like funny, but beautiful. I just love it. I have a few quotes. Here's a great one that's really short. Mr. Thornfield, do you know, Miss Stone, that you are exceptional? I have been told so, but never in a complimentary light. Like, it's just so great. Oh, and for a time, our main character, Jane, goes by some different names. This is beautiful. This is Jane talking about another character, a child. As self-sufficient a child as she was, she fed off love as if she were a walking siphon, and both Mr. Thornfield and Mr. Singh quietly, almost without gesture and never with words, delivered the substance to her in staggering quantities. I love that. I love it. I feel like some people might think it's too lengthy and like flowery, but Jane again speaking. I don't know the term for a child who falls asleep after her first murder and before confessing her sins, but I suspect it is not an intensely complimentary one. And then a couple that like I felt were like moving or particularly like hit me, I guess, not just for being funny, but like the words. A character, I'm not going to say who because I don't want to give spoilers, but a character speaking to someone that they love, and they say, I want you to live in my bones. And it sounds kind of creepy, but also at the same time, like, damn. This one's quite lengthy, but as someone who's an avid reader and as someone who is a writer, this I really loved, so bear with me. I hope that the epitaph of the human race when the world ends will be, here perished a species which lived to tell stories. We tell stories to strangers to ingratiate ourselves, stories to lovers to better adhere us skin to skin, stories in our heads to banish the demons. When we tell the truth, often we are callous. When we tell lies, often we are kind. Through it all, we tell stories, and we own an uncanny knack for the task. Like, I'm done. I love it. I just really got connected to the characters. I loved Jane as a character. She is clearly being, having killed. She's not like a perfect character, but without giving spoilers, there's a level of guilt that she experiences, But what I appreciated, I think, the most about that whole storyline is that I really dislike it. And someone was talking about this recently, and I can't remember who. I think it might have been Elliot. But talking about when a character feels guilt for something, right? But then it's like they go on their entire lives like holding on to this thing. And even if other people are like, dude, you don't need to be guilty for that, and like logically explain like why you shouldn't feel guilty for this, they still are like, no, I must like freaking whip myself daily because I'm such a terrible person. And it's like, get over it, shut up. And I really appreciated that Jane was not that character. While there was a level of guilt, she wasn't beating herself up over it constantly to the point of annoyance. She was just more logical about it, and I really appreciated that. And I just loved her as a character. I loved the other characters. There is representation in here for bisexuality and or gay. I think one of the characters, I don't know if she was bisexual or if she was gay. That wasn't explicitly stated. A queer character at any rate. There was also a character who pretty sure was asexual, definitely seemed to be asexual, just based on how he felt and his expression. So yeah, there was some representation there. It wasn't necessarily like the forefront of anything, but it doesn't have to be. Like I said, this one character didn't like come out and say like, hey guys, I'm asexual. But again, they don't have to. It was pretty clear, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I highly recommend Jane Steele. If anything I read, those quotes sounded cool to you, like sounded like your type of writing style that you would enjoy, definitely read this book. Okay, that is all for now. Like I said, I didn't want to get into spoilers, so I'm not going to go further in depth than that. As always, thanks for your time, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.